Hello? Oh? No, stream did die. Think I'm back? Showing as unstable connection. Is back or is not back? Showing internet. I'm showing unstable connection to Twitch. Okay. So hopefully that will stay up. I don't know why that blipped like that. OBS did nothing. I've heard the story is good, Randus. Yeah. I don't have it yet. Everything being real time, not really loving it. Yeah, that's fair. I do appreciate that they're branching out. I hope that the mainline games, like I hope when they release Gen 10 that it is still turn-based. I would be happy if they had like mainline games turn-based and then like Legends games real-time. Because, I mean, there are people that prefer real-time and think turn-based is too slow. Like, people just differ. So I'm happy for them to have both. I hope they keep both for the people that prefer one or the other. Now, here's another question, Randus. Are you playing it on a Switch 1 or do you have a Switch 2? Because we don't have a Switch 2 yet. But we've heard that it's running okay on Switch 1. Oh, you have a Switch 2, okay. Yeah, I've heard that it runs okay on Switch 1. So maybe in a week or two I'll pick it up. I really do want to play it. I don't want to wait until we can afford a Switch 2 to be able to play it. For some reason this week I've been playing a lot of Hyrule Warriors. I don't know why that bug bit me again. So, I'm a very strange person. I actually prefer playing in handheld mode. Because I tend to prefer handheld gaming systems. And this, even just the Switch 1 in handheld mode was heavy enough that it hurt my wrists eventually. So I actually have a Switch Lite, which is perfect. So I'm kind of hoping they'll come out with some sort of a Switch 2 Lite they might not be able to because of the hardware specs, but I'm hopeful. But yeah, we'll probably end up getting a regular Switch 2 at some point. The 2 isn't really heavier than the 1? Okay. At least there's that. Because in all the comparisons, it looked like it was a fair bit bigger, so I was worried that it was also significantly heavier. But I can live with that. It's bigger, but about the same weight. Okay. Okay, that's not bad then. I can make do with that. One, two, three. I need to make more papers. Because of the real time, you can't play ZA in handheld. You basically need access to all the buttons at all times. Ooh, geez. We'll see how that goes. I don't mind playing it in TV mode. I just generally, like, I like to play video games in bed. Or, like, sprawled sideways on the couch. But then again, that's partially, like, I grew up with Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, NDS before I ever had any kind of a console. Like, we had a PlayStation 2, and we got a PlayStation 2 pretty soon after it came out, I think. And then we got a GameCube when I was in high school. And I think that's it. Those are all the consoles we ever had until I moved in with Kaylee. So I've played a lot of PS2 RPGs. And we had a PS1. We had a PS1 and a PS2. Because I did play some FF7 when it first came out. I just never beat it. We had a PS1, a PS2, eventually got a GameCube. But then other than that, I was very much a handheld kid. So, like, all of my experience and all of my video game, like, nostalgia and preferences tend to be centered around handhelds. I remember going over to my friend's place, and my friend had an N64, and I thought that was the coolest system in the world. And I used to always want to play Mario Kart and Pokemon Snap whenever we went over to her place. I did a decent amount of computer gaming too. Not like anything like too in-depth. I used to play Warcraft 2 or Warcraft 3 on the computer. which is probably where my love of like city builders comes from. And then I don't know where or why, but my dad had a bunch of those, like the software demo CDs that you used to get in magazines, where it's like, here's a CD with 200 games on it, and it was like, it would have like solitaire and mahjong, but then like it was like 200 watch and play games crammed onto one CD. We had a bunch of those, and I had like, I would get bored and just start playing through like this list of all of these different games, and every now and then I would find one where I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. And I don't remember any of them specifically now, but I used to get on the computer and just play these like weird CD games. Just because that's what we had, basically. I don't think my dad still has any of them. I wonder if any of them are still in my room at home. Not that I could probably get them to run on a modern computer, but it might be an interesting forensic project. There was one that was like Christmas themed, I remember. And there were a bunch of like different Christmas. There was one that was elf bowling. It was just like a Windows bowling game, but Christmas themed. There was like a Christmas themed mahjong game. I don't remember. Do you remember the CD games that came in cereal? Yes, I think I had a couple. I don't remember which ones, but I think we had a couple of those too. I think my dad was a computer early adopter in the sense of like, it's 1995. We have a computer. What can we do with it? Oh, look, here's an easy way to get games. Let's get a bunch of these, kind of thing. The Warcraft was definitely my dad's. I remember I used to watch him playing it, and I thought it was really cool, so he like taught me how to play so I could get on and play Warcraft. And then I also had, and I think I still have some of these. I don't know where they came from, but we had some floppy disk games that were like, they were Mario, and I'm pretty sure they were licensed Mario. One of them I know for sure was. One was Mario Was Missing. I played the hell out of that, which was like an educational game. It was meant to teach you like history and geography. We had Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, which was the same thing, basically. And then we had like it was like either a crossword game or a word search game that I think was Mario themed. And that's the one I don't know if it was officially licensed or not. I didn't have Oregon Trail at home, but I did play Oregon Trail at school. We had one computer at my elementary school that we were allowed to like sign up to use during recess, essentially. And I played Oregon Trail on that. Oregon Trail and Number Munchers. For a while in grade 3, I had the school's high score in Number Munchers, and I was very proud of that fact. Hmm. I'll tell you what I did play on my home computer, though. This was a little bit later on, but we had Amazon Trail, which was sort of the same thing. It was still the idea of you're going from point A to point B, traveling up the Amazon River, but it had like layered on top of it educational stuff. So you could like stop at any point and go into the jungle and like photograph animals, and it would give you facts about the animals. Or you could go fishing, and it was like actually fish that you would find in the Amazon River because you had to feed yourself, but it would give you like facts about the fish. I played a lot of that one. And then at certain points along the river, you'd go into like a time warp and end up at like various historical events. Like for a while, Henry Ford had like a rubber plantation for his car tires in the Amazon, so you could like visit the plantation and talk to Henry Ford. It was weird. But I had fun at the time. Could you die from dysentery? Pretty sure you could. Pretty sure you could die from disease. Most of the time, I think I died by crashing into rocks and overturning my boat. Is, I think, usually how I would fail that one. Man, now you guys are all making me nostalgic for really old PC games. I also used to play the heck out of the... Again, this was a little bit later on, but the Clue Finders and the Reader Rabbit, like, Learning Company PC games. I think we had almost all of those. Because there was Reader Rabbit for the younger kids, for, like, toddlers up through kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, for like reading and math and such. And then grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, they had the Clue Finders. And again, they were like educational puzzle games. But I loved those games so much. The game you played in school was Pharaoh, which set you up well for playing city builders in your life. Yeah. I definitely had an Egypt phase as a kid. I never actually had a Greek phase, but I very much had an Egypt phase. And because of that, my parents got me a city builder that was called Children of the Nile, which was basically Pharaoh, but I think more updated, and like I think there was a little bit more to it. I played so much Children of the Nile. I kind of want to see if I can find it again. Why you gotta call me out like that, Randus? You're right, but you don't gotta say it. Fine, I have always been interested in Egypt, ever since I was a child. And so because of that, my parents bought me a game called Children of the Nile. Which was super fun. I really do kind of want to go back and see if I can find it. I don't think I ever beat it. I would just kind of build a city and get it running, and then get bored with like the world level diplomatic missions. So I would start a new city and build it. There was a campaign mode, but I don't think I ever beat it. I just liked building the cities when I was younger. So yeah, between Children of the Nile and Warcraft 2 and SimCity, I think I got into city builders real early. Actually, I don't think it was the original SimCity. I think we had SimCity 2000 was the one that I played a ton of. It might have been the original. I don't remember. It was either the original or it was SimCity 2000. But I also played a lot of that one. Did I ever read the Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel books? I don't think so. I think I had friends that were into them, but I don't think I ever read them. Feel like I might enjoy them. Ooh, I'll have to look them up then. Alright, so that is 7. Is 7. Alright, back to this. Hey, Kara, I think I figured out part of why you were feeling so crappy yesterday. It's apparently 22 degrees outside. So the weather is doing a thing. And no, that's 22°C. Which is about 10 degrees warmer than it's been all week long. And I think it's supposed to go down by about 10 degrees tomorrow. I wish it would just kind of stay one way or the other. Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't mind when it's cool. I don't mind when it's warm. It's just when it bounces up and down like this, it sucks. And it messes with my sinuses and it messes with Kara's head. Makes us both feel like we want to die. (22 Fahrenheit) is perfect, so you wouldn't complain about that? Yeah, that's actually not too bad. I would accept that for winter. I don't mind it when it's, like, slightly below freezing. Because, again, that's just kind of crisp and nice. When it starts getting windy and you start factoring the wind chill in, then it becomes a problem. Cold enough for the snow not to melt, but warm enough that the babies who hate the cold don't complain as much. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's fair. Bake. Enjoy your baking. Thanks for stopping by, Merlin. Have a great rest of your day. I'm assuming maybe the baking comes first, and baking usually takes a few hours, so maybe she's factoring that in. is still downstairs asleep, as far as I know. Hush is helping. Yeah, we always say she's just providing extra insulation. She's making sure the blanket is extra warm. She's chasing away the thread chickens? Maybe. She would have no idea what to do with a chicken if she got her hands on one. Or her paws on one. I hear you out there, baby. Sorry about that. Rule 1. Yes, Randus, I remember. I'm doing my best to follow it. I thought rule number 1 was never underestimate smiling bald men with brooms? Or was that rule number 2? Rule 1, no dying. Rule 2, don't be a bleep. For all other rules, refer back to rules 1 and 2. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was making a reference back to a Terry Pratchett book, wherein, I believe it's rule number 1, is don't underestimate smiling bald men with brooms. Because they're actually badass time monks. They just pose as janitors everywhere. Because that gets them in places without anybody ever asking questions. Not one you know. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you would get it. I was mostly making the reference for Kara's benefit, because I know she gets it. But I like your rules. They are excellent. And yeah, basically the only 2 rules you need. Goodness. Lots of loud drivers out. Dom must be having a family reunion. Maybe. Maybe they're having like a delivery guys convention or something. Trade show. That's what I was looking for. Maybe they're having a trade show, so they're all in town. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to bat the camera there. Alright, one more and then I think I'll call it a day. Which day will I call it? Mastercraft? I don't know. I have 7 to choose from, that's true. Probably Weaver. I mean, Weaver is the obvious choice. Sunday. Yeah. I mean, Sunday makes the most sense. Sunday is usually when I'm doing the sewing. So yeah, I guess I'll finish this seam and then I'll call it Sunday. You didn't already know what day today was? Well, lucky you. Hey, Bill's Bells, thank you. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. I'm actually just about finishing up, unfortunately. But thank you very much. I'm SJ. I'm here every Sunday, doing this usually. Usually Hexagons. Oh, thank you for the recommendation with no ears. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I usually stream from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm just wrapping up here. Hexagons are bestigons, it's true. Oh yeah, you'll notice, so this is English paper piecing. You'll notice I'm doing it all by hand because you could not pay me enough to try to sew hexagons on a machine. I know it's theoretically possible, but I'm not doing it. And I like hand sewing, so. Yeah, I'm in love with this quilt. This is my scrap quilt. I just kind of put every random bit of fabric I have into it. And it's turning out really nice. So yeah, usually on Sundays, I'm here working on this. Oh yeah, hand sewing is the best. I like being able, I have all of my sewing stuff on a tray, so that I can take it downstairs and just like, if we're sitting watching TV or watching a movie, I can sit and hand sew. Or crochet. I also crochet, so I do a lot of that in front of the television. But hand sewing is so relaxing. Hand sewing is relaxing and much easier to stream than machine sewing. Nope, come on, thread. There we go. Be nice. Alright. Cut the paper out of this one, now that it's fully encased. Alright, there we go. So that will do it for this week. Thanks again for the raid. Sorry it was right here at the end. That's more on the quilt. So hopefully at some point this week in the evening, I'm hoping to stream more Pokemon, and I'm hoping to stream at least one stream of Spooky Game since it is the season. But regardless, I should be back here next Sunday with more Hexagons. So until then, if I don't have a chance to talk to you, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay hydrated, take your meds, all the usual loving warnings, do it or else, and I will see all you guys in the future. Someday I'll have a stream deck, so I don't have to get up and press the button, but that day is not now. Bye!